Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, we've got a lot of disappointment from the sports world, right? We've got these Team USA spoiled babies out there trashing the United States, our great country, while they're supposed to be representing our country at the Winter Olympics. And then we've got Bad Bunny, who is always trashing this country, who's being put up on a pedestal. So we got a lot to cover, and we're going to cover quite a bit on the program today. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and follow wherever you are listening. I want to talk about the Team USA Olympians, and I'll play you the audio of them in just a bit, and we'll cover what the Team USA people are doing. But here's the thing. There has been a unwritten rule for American citizens in this country. And it's one, for the most part, has been obeyed by everyone, but there have been very few and far between isolated examples. The most recent example before Team USA of breaking this rule that I'll tell you about was Governor Gavin Newsom when he was in Davos a few weeks back. But the rule is this: you don't criticize the United States or U.S. policy or U.S. leadership when you're on foreign soil. You just don't do it, even if you disagree with whoever the president is at the particular time in something they're doing. You keep your mouth shut. And in the instance of the Olympians, to quote Laura Ingraham, just shut up and dribble or play in the snow or whatever it is you're doing over there at the Winter Olympics. And it's been an unspoken rule of respect that we've had in this country. I don't know if you and other countries that may be listening have such a rule in your country, but that's how Americans roll, okay? Until lately. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not an exaggeration on my part, there are 4 Olympians in question. Three of them were trashing the United States. You'll hear from them in a moment at that press conference. And then there's a 4th one who's an American citizen born in San Francisco who's playing for China, the CCP. Now, the 3 that are trashing the United States, I don't care how good they are. I don't know if they're good. I don't know how they're performing. But all 3 of these Team USA members should be stripped of their place on the U.S. Olympic team immediately. Their Team USA uniform and gear and anything that they have should be confiscated, and they should be flown back to the United States or a country that they think is better than this one. We'll give them airfare to one-way airfare anywhere. They should not be out there on our team any longer representing us. When you're on Team USA, you are representing the United States. You're wearing the uniform of the U.S. Olympic team. That is very much like you're wearing a uniform in the military. You're wearing a uniform representing the United States, and you don't go out there and trash the United States when you're in that uniform. Now, I'll tell you guys, I like the Olympics. I really do. I'm not a big sports fan in general. I'm more into news and politics and such. But when it comes to the Olympics, I do watch the Olympics, especially the Winter Olympics. I've always liked the Winter Olympics better than the Summer Olympics. I don't know. I think it may be because the Winter Olympics, they do a lot of risky stuff there, man. I tell you, and there's a lot of suspense and danger and drama. But my wife and I, every year we watch the Winter Olympics. We watch the Summer Olympics too, but we really get into the Winter Olympics. And before all this nonsense happened on Friday, which was the opening ceremonies day was on Friday, we have the Paramount TV, or not the Paramount app, the NBC TV app, the NBC app. It's called Peacock. And on Friday, we went through the Peacock app, and not only were they carrying the because there's a big time change between the East Coast of the United States and Italy. I don't know, what is it, 7 hours, something like that. But my wife and I on Friday, we even went through the Peacock app, because the Peacock app, they don't just have some live feed. They have a whole schedule on the app telling you what countries are playing and what sport. You click it on, you can watch that event. And we went through that on Friday, and we're like, oh, this is exciting. Although a lot of it's going to be at 4 and 5 in the morning on Saturday. We were like, okay, we'll watch all this stuff starting Saturday. And my wife and I had planned on, this was Friday, we had planned on spending the entire weekend watching the U.S. Olympic team hopefully kick some butt and win some medals in the Olympics. And then these three jokers came out in this press conference and started trashing our country. We haven't watched 1 second of the Olympics, not one. And, I don't think we're alone in that. Sports, there's always been division. The Democrats, the left, have always been causing divisions in this country, right? That's just what the Democrat Party is. They're just a poison. They like to split people up and have people hating one another. So the Democrats have always been playing these games. But with some exceptions, sports has been a place where, no matter what people's political background was, they could come together and everything would be cool. And look at what the left are doing. What they did with our Olympic team at the Winter Olympics. They got Bad Bunny playing at the halftime. And the NFL, which, the NFL is disgusting, okay? But now they're lucky to still be in business after that take a knee during the national anthem nonsense that went on. And they took a lot of heat for that, and they recovered from it. And then they do this big bunny stunt. Now, it's my understanding, and I'm sure this is more complex than this, but isn't the NFL a nonprofit tax-exempt organization? That should be immediately revoked by the Trump administration. The NFL's, come on. First off, what a joke that is anyway, right, that they're tax-exempt. They should be stripped of that status. They've become a political tool, a political weapon. And, you may have seen in the news over the weekend, the FCC is investigating The View over equal time because they're a broadcast network. And I don't think most people understand what a big deal that is. Equal time's a big thing. And the way that works, as an example, if on the radio show in the mornings, I interview, we're coming up in the midterm primary era right now, right? So if I have some guy on who is running for Congress in the primaries, and I like the guy and I have him on, I interview him, equal time requires that I have to interview everyone running in the primaries in that congressional seat. I have to offer I don't have to interview them. I have to offer to interview them. And if I have him on 29 minutes and 35 seconds, I have to offer them a 29-minute and 35-second interview. And if they accept it, I've got to do it. And that's for both parties in a primary. So there could be like 15 or 20 people. That's how serious equal time is. It's a big deal in broadcast television and radio. So don't let this equal time investigation over at The View, don't let anyone tell you it's not a big deal. It is a very big deal. And they have been in violation of it for years and years and years. So that very well could have some legs, and ABC could be in big trouble over that. But the NFL should lose whatever tax-free status they have. These Olympians, we've heard of Olympians being stripped of their medals for all kinds of things over the years. These Olympians should be stripped of their place on the team. Their uniforms should be stripped from them. Okay? Anything that they have that has Team USA logos on it or anything should all be taken away from them. And that's it. That's it. You go out and disrespect the country when you're on our Olympic team, there need to be consequences to this. So why do they think this way? Well, the reason for that, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to some calls in a little bit. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I'm very curious on how this is going to be handled when they get back to the United States. Are they going to be on The View and all the talk shows? Are they going to get endorsements? You know, we had that, who was that no talent that lost all the time with the purple hair? That on the captain of the ladies soccer team, Megan Rapone. Remember, Megan Rapone, when she was leading the U.S. Women's World Cup soccer team, this is not a joke. You can look this up on your own online and read about this. Do you know Megan Rapone's team lost to middle school boys? I'm not kidding. They lost to middle school boys. That's how bad they were. And she came back, and I saw her doing Subway commercials and all of these things. Are they going to get any endorsements because they hate America? Are they going to do the talk show circuit and continue to trash the country? And I'll tell you, when Olympians after the Olympics do interviews, most of them are wearing their Team USA uniforms on. That's why I say that all of their Team USA uniforms and whatever merch they have from Team USA needs to be repossessed from them, because it's totally seized from them, because they have no business wearing Team USA uniforms and going on talk shows and news interviews in this country trashing the United States. And if any one of these guys was our number one Olympian who was going to win everything for us, I'd still want them thrown off the team and stripped of everything. And you know what? And I don't think I'm alone in that. So let's go. Let's listen to some of these jerks.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think.
Oh, my goodness. Mixed emotions to represent the U.S. Are you kidding me?
It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
I don't understand that last part, friends, family, supporting him. I didn't quite get that last part. Okay, here's the lady Olympian, disgraced Olympian.
Administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now, especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that...
What is she talking about with the gay community? How is the gay community being affected? The Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, is openly gay. He's like the number 2 person in Trump's circle, maybe 3. It's basically the way things work. It seems to me in the Trump administration, after you get vice president, I don't count. It's Trump and the vice president. You don't count the vice president. And then Scott Bessent and Marco Rubio are like the number 1 and 2 guy, and then it's Pete Hegseth. So you got like the number 1, number 2 guy in the cabinet's openly gay. What is this girl talking about here?
That we didn't have to before, and because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and encourage people to stay strong in these hard times.
You know, I wonder, these Olympians, you know what I would ask these jerks? You know, did you have to stamp a passport when you came to Italy?
I know that a lot of people say, you're just an athlete, like stick to your job,
That's right.
Shut up about politics, but
right.
Politics affect us all. It is something that I will not just be quiet about, because it is something that affects us in our everyday lives. So, of course, there are things that I disagree with, but as a community, we are strong and we support each other, and brighter days are ahead of us.
Okay, brighter days are ahead of us. Yeah, right. Okay, so and there's more. I'll get to the rest. You know, when they're doing these press conferences, the media is liberal. The sports media is more liberal than the political media, but this is an international media. I read one story that said that the first question was asked by a Canadian reporter to stir up trouble. Yeah, maybe, and it worked. But when you are a member of Team USA and you're at the Olympic Games representing this country, and someone asks you a political question like this, leading you into trashing the country, you don't do that. What you say is, hey, listen, I'm here to play in the snow and win some medals for playing in the snow, and I've been practicing and training so hard my whole life. I don't even follow the news. I don't even know what's going on in politics. I don't have time for politics. I don't have time for the news. I've been training. Now I'm over here playing in the snow trying to win some medals. That's what you say. You don't go on some rant.
I feel heartbroken about what's happened in the United States when, I'm pretty sure you're referencing ICE and some of the protests and things like that.
Crazy.
I think that as a country, we need to focus on respecting everybody's rights and making sure that we're treating our citizens as well as anybody with love and respect. And
see, notice how he's calling the illegal citizens.
I hope that when people look at athletes compete in the Olympics, they realize that that's the America that we're trying to represent.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Okay, and then we got this girl born in in San Francisco in the United States, and she's playing for the CCP. She's playing for China. Now, this one here, she's a U.S. citizen playing for a foreign country. I mean, to me, I'm just in an enemy country, by the way, the CCP. They should take her passport away from her. She should have her citizenship revoked and find out what led into this. And what benefits is she getting out of this? Was she put up to this by CCP agents? I don't know. But no, this is something that's completely out of control. Now, President Trump, they're very upset because he's calling them losers, which they are. Here's Jake Tapper. This is really going viral online. The president is now attacking U.S. Olympians as a loser and misrepresenting his words for his mild, unspecific criticisms about things going on in the U.S. Now, those were very specific. Well, why do these spoiled punk kids playing in the snow over there in Italy, why are they allowed to say whatever they want, but they're criticizing President Trump for saying what he wants to say? This is what the president posted on True Social. U.S. Olympic skier Hunter Hess. First time I've heard that name since Rudolph Hess. Anyone know who Rudolph Hess was? U.S. Olympic skier Hunter Hess, a real loser, says he doesn't represent his country in the current Winter Olympics. If that's the case, he shouldn't have tried out for the team. And it's too bad he's on it. Very hard to root for someone like this. Make America great again. As always, the president is right. But, the reason that, by the way, if you're just joining, welcome to the program. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. The Brian Craig Show is available wherever you get podcasts. Just search for the Brian Craig Show. We're on all podcast platforms. If you want to catch the show live in video form, that's on, where you hear me taking the live calls, that's on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search the Brian Craig Show, and I'll pop up there. So why has this happened? And I know some people, I haven't seen any reference to this yet, and it's mainly because the media are stupid, uneducated people. They go to college just to be indoctrinated into liberalism. But there were some black Olympians back in the 60s that did the Black Power Fist, which, by the way, was inappropriate too. But at least they were U.S. citizens who were having some rights violated by Democrats in the South. I'm not saying what they did was right, but these Olympians, they're not illegals. Not only are they not illegals, they have to have all kinds of documents. A lot of them, like the one guy said, his family's over there. This guy and all of his family okay? They're over there. They have passports. All of them have passports. They had to go through immigration. They had to go through documents. If they don't have their documents, they couldn't get into Italy. If they didn't have their documents, they wouldn't be allowed to participate in the Olympic Games. So why do they need documents when they're just going over there representing Team USA and their families to watch them? But they're advocating for these people that have no documentation and are coming over here and getting an entire life set up. Well, you know how it goes, right? You know, they've been brainwashed in the American education system. You know, most of these Olympic athletes, with some exceptions like Lindsey Vonn and all that, most of these Olympic athletes are pretty young, and they've been educated during an era where these Obama teachers have been running the classroom. And the Democrats have been very, very smart. They have for decades been recruiting liberal lunatics to be school teachers and college professors. And these Olympians at their age, they've been so brainwashed and indoctrinated that they have no idea what even they're talking about. They really don't. All right, I'll take some calls. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you'd like to support my channel and all my content, which all the content I bring to you on all the different platforms, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of this and every episode. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to, well, of course, you're supporting all my content, which is greatly appreciated, by the way. But if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of each podcast episode. I do live streams exclusive to Patreon supporters on the Patreon platform. It's a troll-free zone for Patreon supporters only. And my wife and I both post a lot of things on Patreon that we post nowhere else, but only to Patreon supporters. So if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this episode. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen here on YouTube, and you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lizep, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, Doris, and our newest top Patreon supporter who's just joined us, Rick. Welcome, Rick, and thank you all. Again, there's a link in the description, or go to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, am I coming in okay?
You are.
Hey, brother, IB.
Hey, what's up?
You know, I listen intently to all the shows, no matter if I call in or not. And when you had your first podcast this morning and you mentioned the equal timing, the View, you see, these people don't understand that Trump has the money to sustain any kind of opposition, even if he initiates it. So I want him to sue the pants of all these people who always slander him. I want him to push for that equal time. ABC, remember he already sued ABC. So I want him to.
Well, equal time's a law. It's a law with the FCC. It's a big one.
I know you said that this morning, and this is the point that these people don't obey any law, and they only want to use the Constitution when it's only when they think it's going to be good for them. Yeah. You know, and these people, these Olympians are so disgraceful. They should not be talking about anything about their achievement. Here's the bottom line of what I got to say about those people. I wish that whoever tries to use them, like when they advertise stuff like Nike or whatever, I wish everyone boycotts that company. You don't like boycotts. I want us Americans, us MAGA, to not just like we did with Cole when they screwed up with Michael and Dell. and they got and like Walmart and Cole and what have you when they got rid of Michael Lindell, My Pillow. I cannot wait to see who's going to endorse those people being on an international scale and ridiculing where they're from.
Yeah.
This goes to show how deep. This goes to show how deep the universities has embedded themselves into these people, and they have no idea. Like you say, they are not grown yet. They don't have the wisdom. They don't have the know-how. They think they are doing something that's noble, but reality will smack them in the face one day, and I hope it's going to be financial. I hope they don't get the endorsements that they think. And if they do get an endorsement, I hope that we don't support whoever that company is.
Well, yeah,
this is like
absolutely.
Beyond despicable. It's just beyond despicable that they would get on there and, like you said, hey, I'm from this town, you know, I trained through the winter, and I can hang out with my friends and go to movies, and and then they get on the international stage after succeeding, and then they want to knock on the country that put them in the place that they are.
Exactly.
I don't know what to say, man. I'm speechless.
It's
I'm really
disgusting.
speechless.
It's disgusting. You know what I wonder? I wonder what their parents thought. I wonder if their parents think that, oh my goodness, what have they done? Or are their parents proud of their political statements?
No, those could be the kind of parents, like when Bill Maher was at that party and everyone around him was talking about their transgender kids and who's going to, you know, become a girl or a boy. You see, those are the parents that are not pushing the kids in the right direction. They're not teaching their kids because they are their kids. Their kids are them. Yes. And it's really bad to see.
Yeah,
it's really bad to see. You know what? I'm going to be somewhere tonight where I'm not paying for it. And I'm going to have to go la, 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 la when that halftime come on in the Super Bowl. I'm just going to have to be in that area. Yeah, I'm not paying for it. I don't have nothing to do with it. But I just want to see how the people are going to behave. I'm going to watch the people more so than the actual halftime.
Well, you can call me tomorrow and fill me in on what happened. All right, IB, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sid, calling from Central Florida.
Hey, Sid, can you turn down the volume of whatever device you got on in the background there?
It's turned off right now, sir. How you doing today?
All right, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm just wondering why anyone would care what an athlete says, because I don't. I don't watch sports. I don't care what any athlete or politician says.
Oh, even politicians. Well, that's absurd. I mean, politicians have power over us, but for the Olympians, they're not just athletes. Each one of them are personal representatives of the United States, and they're in foreign countries talking to the foreign press, trashing our country while wearing our uniform for Team USA, and that's a disgrace.
Well, sir, first off, politicians don't have power over me, and
sure they do.
Honestly, sir,
sure they do.
No, they don't.
Sure they do. They pass the laws. They pass the laws that you have to live by.
No, they don't. I'm an American national, Brian.
Oh, you're one of those sovereign. You're one of those sovereign citizens.
I'm not a citizen. I'm a national. Totally different.
What does that mean? What is that?
A national means that I tell politicians what they can and can't do.
Oh, really? So when you're so what happens when you're driving on the road and you want to go 90 miles an hour and Johnny Law, you're in Florida like I am. Florida State Trooper comes behind you. What do? He's got his lights on. You're going 95. Do you pull over or do you keep going?
Well, first off, I don't go 95.
But if you did,
I have a CDL.
Oh, so you drive the speed limit? So you do go by the law.
Class A CDL.
Oh, okay.
Why would I lose my Brian? Why would I lose my CDL?
CDL. So you do obey the laws that politicians put in place.
No, it's not politicians. I just obey the speed limit because that's
the speed limits. The speed limits are done by elected officials, politicians. That's why we have them.
But I don't follow what a politician says.
Do you drive? What side of the road do you drive on? What side of the road do you drive on?
I drive on the side of the road I'm supposed to drive on.
According to the government.
I drive on the right side.
The right side. Well, that's the government. Politicians made that decision.
No, they didn't.
Oh my goodness! Hey, listen, I'm going to move on. I've got to move on. I got to talk to people that, are credible. All right, appreciate it.
Goodbye, my little friend.
Yeah, all right, goodbye. Yes, goodbye. Oh my goodness. It's the Brian Craig Show. My name's Brian Craig. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Frank. He's a listener, and he's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Frank, welcome. So, Frank, could you tell me how Jupiter Joe Thomas helped you?
What he's advertising today and putting out there is a fantastic product for people like me, and there's millions of people like me that want a good sound investment, and they want a good sound, caring, loving investment advisor, and that's Jupiter Joe. He's in the business for like 30 years, and he knows his business. Him and his family make you feel so comfortable. You sit down, and he gives you a real full analysis of what's going on and what he has to offer. And I got into these income streams, these streaming products, and I jumped on it right away. And when he told me what I'm going to get, and I'm getting it right now, and on one of them, I was amazed. He doubled what this other so-called investment advisor was offering me. And I'm jumping for joy.
Do what Frank did. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas right now. Schedule your no-charge consultation. Talk to Joe Thomas about annuities and be guaranteed income every month for the rest of your life. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999 and online, jupiterjoe.com.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom Laporta, what a class act, the workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is The Brian Craig Show. Welcome. All right, so the anti-Americanism and hate doesn't end at the Winter Olympics. This Democrat congressman from Texas, Gene Wu is his name. Listen to this guy.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country now. We have the ability to take over this country and to do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair. But the problem is our communities are divided. They're completely divided.
Okay, so the common enemy he's talking about are white people. What he's calling for is for non-white Americans to unite and oppress white Americans. This is beyond segregation. I mean, this is like Germany kind of stuff, right? Rounding up American citizens because of their ethnicity, because you don't like them, and because we're the majority, which is not true, but let him live in his fantasy world. Let him He wants to round up all the white people because he and the other non-white people don't like them and oppress them because of their skin color. That is one of the ugliest comments ever made by a member of Congress. I say one of because, a lot of pretty bad people there. But, about this thing of racism and bigotry and discrimination and everything, they, on the left, the Democrats want you to think that racism, hate, bigotry, it's exclusive to white people, that non-white people don't have such issues. And they got some say they don't have the power, some say this, some say that. But that's some hardcore racism right there. And that guy should be removed from Congress. When you're talking about organizing all non-white people to round up all the white people that are U.S. citizens and oppress them, you no longer are qualified or eligible to be in the United States Congress, in my view. I mean, George Santos did much less, and they tossed him out, didn't they? Mm-hmm. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Kevin. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I just want to say that I was on hold for way too long. I want to speak to
well, then let me put you back on hold. Oh, you can hold a little longer. When you look, though, at what's going on in this country, when you talk about diversity, right? Where's the real diversity in this country? It's in the MAGA movement. It's amazing thing about the MAGA movement. You go to a Trump rally, and it is so diverse, not just skin color, but religion, and it's amazing. You go to a Democrat, they don't have rallies like we have because they don't have the people. But when they do have events, mostly what they are they do have, different groups, but they segregate them. They'll have like the gays here, blacks here, Hispanics here. They segregate them in their group, and it's not organic or natural like it is in the MAGA movement. And it's really amazing. It wasn't always that way in the Republican Party. The diversity in the Republican Party is a direct result of everything President Trump has done. It has it's really amazing, and it's getting more and more diverse all the time. And it used to be before Trump, there were non-white people in the Republican Party, but not that many. And now it's just not that way. And they want to continue to call us the bigots, right? And all this talk about ICE, most of these ICE agents I see are Hispanic that I've seen in Minneapolis that are involved in these confrontations. I just wanted to mention a little bit about the Savannah Guthrie mother kidnapping. This is the latest video that they dropped yesterday.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Okay. This is one of the strangest videos, and she says some things that are strange. So I want to talk a little bit about what Savannah Guthrie said, but first I want to mention the sister. So Ashley Banfield, who was at MSNBC when they first started, and then I think she was at Court TV, but most recently she was at News Nation, and then they got rid of her at News Nation. And she's pretty good, and they replaced her with Katie Pavlich, who's also very good, but couldn't they have kept Ashley Banfield and tossed out Fredo over there? Cuomo, he sucks. But she reported a few days ago on her show, which is now on YouTube, Ashley Banfield, that there were suspicions towards the sister and the son-in-law. And the media, the mainstream media, went after her immediately, calling her an irresponsible influencer. They didn't say her name, but they were attacking her. Jake Tapper was, of course, attacking her and criticizing her. And the mainstream media are very threatened by people like Ashley Banfield, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker, people that come from the traditional media, part ways, and then as opposed to getting a job at one of their competitors, which still keeps them in the club of the mainstream legacy media, they decide, well, enough of this. I'm just going to go work for myself and start a YouTube channel or something. They're threatened by that. Well, Ashley Banfield has been right every step of the way. She did a show late last night that my wife and I watched earlier today, about an hour. And there's been a lot of developments, and all the developments show that Ashley Banfield has been right about everything that's been going on. And one is towards the end of last week, they not only did the sister and son-in-law's car get confiscated and hauled away by the local police, they had a warrant to do it. And this is all coming from Ashley Banfield's sources, and then we find out it's true. The sheriff said that they had a warrant to get the sister's car. So to get a warrant, you have to have some evidence. You have to go to a judge. You got to go in a courtroom and say, hey, we need a warrant to seize this person's vehicle. We have this evidence. And a judge signed off on that warrant. So they got something. And then late last night, crime scene in the middle of the night, around midnight here on the East Coast or so, spent 3 or 4 hours in the sister's home late at night doing some type of forensic investigation. And it was pretty nuts. I saw it. I was like, what's going on here? And so far, it looks like Ashley Banfield is right on the money that the sister and son-in-law seem to be the prime suspects. And I saw some of the live video in front of the sister's house. And it was at night last night. It looked like they had flashlights in the garage, which is where the car was. So I'm wondering if they were doing that test that they do to look for blood. But the way that things are looking, it looks, we don't know. I saw a story a little while ago that the police were looking down some storm drain somewhere, but it looks like the sister and her husband, or the husband and the sister's connected, are the prime suspects. And then when you watch this with Ashley Banfield, a lot of people are looking at the sister.
We received your message, and we understand.
And say it looks like the sister's faking the emotion. And what do you guys think? It's hard for me to tell, but what do you think?
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Yeah, the sister's facial expressions are strange. Now, I want to go through this again because the things that Savannah Guthrie says are weird, right? She says things that are strange, especially towards the end. So let's go through it.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
Now, the celebrate with her, I don't know what that means. Celebrate her coming home. When I first heard this, I thought like a funeral. I don't know what that means, but then she goes on.
This is the only way we will have peace.
See, the only way we'll have peace. It sounds like funeral to me, but I don't know.
This is very valuable to us.
Okay, see, that's another thing that's weird. This is very valuable to us. What weird words to say in that context? This is very valuable to us. Aren't those weird words to use?
Very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Okay, well, it's almost like she's responding in some code to the note that they got, the message they got from the abductors, if they are the abductors, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound a little strange to you? The words, this is very valuable to us. It's very strange. I hope her mother's returned alive and well. I do. I mean, it's terrible what they're going through, and and obviously we don't know who did it yet, but the police seem to have their eye, and the feds, on the sister and the son-in-law, or maybe it's the son-in-law and the sister's getting dragged into it. But in most murders, most people, and we don't know this is a murder, hopefully it's not, but in most crimes similar to this, right? It's almost always somebody in the immediate circle and somebody they know and somebody close to them. Almost every time. Almost every time. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show. We'll be right back.
If you enjoy dark, atmospheric stories filled with mystery, power, and hidden truths, The Drowned Covenant is a book you should know about. Available now on Amazon KDP. The Drowned Covenant pulls readers into a world shaped by secrets, sacrifice, and a pact that was never meant to surface again. As the story unfolds, old loyalties are tested and buried truths begin to rise. This book is perfect for readers who love immersive storytelling, morally complex characters, and stories where every choice carries a cost. If you're looking for a gripping read that stays with you long after the final page, The Drowned Covenant is available now on Amazon. Need a Valentine's gift? Well, flowers die, chocolate melts. A movie poster from justmovieposters.com is forever, or close enough. Most items are between $7 to $15. Shipping extra. Go to justmovieposters.com to find that special movie poster today. justmovieposters.com. Sports talk is everywhere, but if you're tired of those same old boring shows, there's a podcast you'll want to add to your podcast playlist right now. Height Differential. The Height Differential podcast brings you the games, the stories, and the moments that matter from two completely different perspectives. Host Nick stands at 4'10" and Neil at 6'6". And when it comes to sports takes, debates, and opinions, the difference, it's just as big. These two friends break down sports from way up high and closer to the ground, with big takes, hot debates, real laughs, with no boring panels, no recycled talking points, just honest, entertaining sports conversations you'll actually want to tune into. New episodes drop each week, covering the moments everyone's talking about and the ones everyone should be talking about. Find Height Differential on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and everywhere else you get podcasts, as well as heightdifferential.com. Do yourself a favor. Add the Height Differential podcast to your playlist right now and get sports talk from a whole new angle. Are you a content creator who's dreamed of quitting your job and making content creation your full-time career? You're not alone. Millions have attempted it, but most creators quit, not because they lack talent. They quit because they never become monetized. They chase views, test features, and hear from 10 different opinions and still feel like they're guessing. You can become monetized. You just need the right help and guidance, and that's what you will find in the Monetization Explained book series, available on Amazon from author Jeremy Mitchell. These aren't growth hacks or income promises. They're plain English guides on how monetization actually works, so you can build something stable instead of reactive. In Digital Products for Creators, you'll learn how to build products that sell without taking over your time, your inbox, or your content. Facebook Monetization Explained breaks down bonuses, ads, eligibility, and trust without the myths or confusion. TikTok Monetization Explained shows why earnings feel unstable, how the lanes really work, and how to build beyond the feed. And YouTube Monetization Explained walks you through how YouTube builds trust over time and why real monetization starts at the channel level, not one video, as well as other platforms Monetization Explained, which covers Instagram, X, Snapchat, and Twitch. There's no hype, no gimmicks, just the system explained clearly. What are you waiting for? Go right now to Amazon.com and search Monetization Explained by author Jeremy Mitchell and take that first step to becoming a full-time monetized content creator. The Monetization Explained book series from author Jeremy Mitchell on Amazon.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Carlos. I'm calling from Hawaii.
All right, Hawaii. What's on your mind?
Hey, not too much. I'm originally from Michigan, and I just wanted to chime in. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I appreciate everything you do. You got me through. I started listening during COVID, and that ties into my point. I'll keep it brief because I got to go back to work. But, man, I swear this has to do, because I'm one of 12 people that I know in the Air Force that did not get the vaccine. I got the religious exemption. We're diehard Christians. And I honestly think the hysteria is basically because of the vaccinations. Now, whether or not you got that,
What
that's
hysteria?
fine, but I know a lot
What
of people-
hysteria?
Well, I think most of this, just everywhere I go, the grocery store, doing daily tasks, the most basic things where people can't get along, or they can't smile, they can't
Really?
even have
You
a
think
joyous-
people got along before 2020? I don't think so. All right, appreciate the call. I mean, no, it's a little out of left field. Not open phones today, but no, people have always been not getting along in the country. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Rusty. I'm calling from Central Florida. And I absolutely agree with you that it's very disrespectful for our country for these people to represent it and say such horrible things about our country.
Yeah, well, on that point, we'll agree. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to get into this. Let me play this clip. This is the president on Air Force One. They're asking him about that video that had the Obamas at the end of it on that post. Let me play the comment.
At the very least, do you condemn the racist parts of the video?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Okay, this video with by tomorrow afternoon, that story will fade away because the attention span of the American people is about 16 seconds these days, very short, and the news cycle is shorter than I've ever seen it. And we have multiple news cycles, at least 2 each and every day during the week these days. But this thing about the video where President Trump posted that video, everyone knows, every single person knows, that the video at the end with the Obamas, that was the next video, not the video he posted. And they did a screen grab recording of the video. And the next video popped up, and the aide just did not edit that out. Now, the president said he would not fire that aide. They're very lucky because they caused a lot of problems, but that shows you that the president even knows it's not that big of a deal, right? I mean, everybody knows exactly what happened. And, all the time I'm playing videos on social media, and the next video will pop up, and I don't want to watch it. I don't know what it's about, and I just scroll away, and that's what happened. There was a mistake that was done by whoever recorded it and posted it to social media without going through the whole video and clipping out that last part. But it's not nothing racist because President Trump didn't do anything racist. That was not in the video he posted. Everyone knows this. It needs no defense. Because there was nothing done wrong by the president other than the person that did this should have edited out the end. I mean, how many of you have done a screen grab of a video and posted it? Everybody does it. And sometimes you don't clip out the end for whatever reason, then something comes up. It's no big thing. No big thing. And I know a lot of people say, well, if this were Biden, you guys, well, Biden had a history of being racist. Biden has said the N-word multiple times when he was in Congress, screaming at the top of his lungs, use the N-word, go look it up, right? What he said about Obama, bathing and all of that. Remember that? I mean, Biden had a history of saying very racist things. Biden, he was in the Senate a long time. So when desegregation was over, Joe Biden went to President Carter when Jimmy Carter was president and tried to get an exemption allowing private schools to continue to segregate and not have to accept black students. So Biden, it's a different situation when you have someone like Biden who has a history of using the N-word and a history of racism, as opposed to Trump, who has no history of anything like that. And of course, anything the president does, they're going to disagree with it or blow it out of proportion. But what has the Democrats freaked out is stuff like this. This is from CNN, and this is Van Jones he's talking to black Trump voters. Well, let me turn the volume up.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump again, yes or no?
Yes, I would. Now, in the future, I am not a diehard Democrat or diehard Republican. If there were a Democratic candidate, who was more aligned for me, then I would vote Democrat.
If you go back in time, would you vote for Donald Trump? Yes or no?
Yes.
I think I might know the answer on this next.
She said yes. It's immediately yes. No, I'm sorry.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump? Yes or no?
1,000% absolutely yes.
If you
see, this is what has the Democrats freaking out. It's not the video, okay? What has the Democrats freaking out is that they have lost the black vote. And not only have they lost the black vote, they know they've lost the black vote, you know? And they're doing, and little things like this, they do just to try to get the black vote back, whatever bit they can. But it's hopeless because the black vote is over. All right, let's go for the Democrats. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Philip. I've called before.
All right, Philip, what's on your mind?
Now, you're talking about racism. Now, I'll tell you one of the most wonderful videos I've ever seen. Had this black woman going to the Trump Towers or some sort of hotel thing, and she would sneak in the rooms and whatever this and that, and she was homeless. Trump found out about it. She thought she was going to be in trouble. And she went up to his office, and he offered her a place to stay there permanently. Not even that. She got free food and everything like that.
Yeah.
And we would put flowers in the room. I don't have much else to say, but I just want to say Trump is not a racist.
Everybody, yes, exactly. Everybody knows this. But you know who is? The Obamas. Michelle Obama said in a recent interview that she tries not to buy anything that is made, manufactured, or sold by white people, that she tries to only buy things that are made, manufactured, and sold by black people. That sounds like racism to me, Michelle Obama.
Yeah, truly. And I think it's sort of twisted now because now there's racism against white people, whatever, which I see online.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's not a problem, but yeah, it's twisted. And, you know, I would dare anybody to find something either online or something that Trump has said that proves he's a racist. It's just a load of BS.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
That man, he cares about the Hispanics and the black people.
President Trump President Trump has been in the public eye nationally since the 1970s. I've never heard of anything, even hinting at racism in anything that he said in the 45, 50 years that he's been a famous person.
I remember watching a video and they said that the Hispanic community and the black community were getting, their unemployment was changing and they were getting jobs, and there was a higher rate of employment and things were better under Trump.
Absolutely.
And then I watched videos with African Americans online and they're wearing the Trump hat and they're talking about how great Trump is. I mean, man, the media is so, they lie so much. Anyway, I won't keep you much longer, but the thing is the media lies too much.
Yep, they do. All right, what, you're calling from Australia?
Yeah, I'm from Australia.
What part of Australia are you in?
Melbourne, Victoria.
Okay, all right, good to hear from you. All right, take care. All right, from the land down under. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, my name's Mike from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Mike.
So I agree with most of what Trump is doing and how he's going about doing it,
here we go.
Except for the files.
Yeah, I know.
Like, except for the files.
Yeah. Well,
like,
yeah.
Why?
Well, I'm not talking about those.
But that's something that needs talked about.
Well, then you can get your own show and you can talk about them the whole time. All right. Good luck with that. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Hold on, let me pull this up. Look at this. Right where we began. Team USA Olympic skier Hunter Hess has turned off comments on his Instagram. Wow. What does that tell you? His Instagram is getting overloaded. Overloaded with Americans that are plenty pissed off. Yeah, the guy that called about the files, well, I don't understand why we'd be talking about things that are so over. I'll just say this one thing about that. I mentioned this the other day. The files themselves are useless because they've been so used by the Democrats and filled up with things. The victims are very well organized. They're adult women now. Right now, it's up to the victims to get together, put together their eyewitness experiences and knowledge, and go to the FBI and report the people that they have been victimized by. And since there's so many victims that have worked together, they have corroborating testimony from multiple girls that are now grown women. It's at this point, that story, it's on the women to take the next step further. Remember, they got Bill Cosby on accusations that were over 50 years old. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe and follow on whatever platform you're listening on. Remember, the Brian Craig Show is available wherever you get podcasts. Just search for the Brian Craig Show. If you want to catch the show live in video form where you hear me taking the live calls, that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for the Brian Craig Show, and I'll come up there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. I will talk to you next time.